Hey guys, it's me. Haven't been live in a while. So don't know how long this is gonna be. Don't know how this is gonna go. Don't know how many people are gonna be here. Hopefully you guys can hear me. But we are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. I always say I'm gonna do Instagram, but I just can't figure out how to do it yet. I have to find another device. So whoever's here, let me know. If you haven't subscribed, please do that. Also, can you like, oh, hey, Terry, you can hear me okay, right? Hopefully you can. I know you're subscribed, but if you haven't subscribed, guys, get subscribed. All new subscribers, thank you. We're gonna get into some brother tea. Oh, good, thank you. Some brother tea, a little bit of brother tea. It's so annoying right now. And the Chrisleys. A little bit of Teresa information. Yeah, so let's get into it. I'll actually give you a little bit longer to get in the room. Terry, it's so hot here. It was hot here. It was hotter than it was in the South. I heard the South was pretty bad. But so, okay. So you guys know that like Todd Chrisley is in jail. I'm going to start here. Okay. Now, if you guys haven't watched the show, the basis of the show started with this guy, Todd Chrisley. Couldn't really figure out where his money came from, right? But apparently it was some kind of real estate deal. And he gets on reality TV and he has his family, his wife, which is actually his second wife. Actually, guys, I think it might even be like his third wife. I'm not sure. I dug up some information, right? But it's his new wife, Julie, and there are two kids. And then they have a third kid, which is theirs. But he has two other kids with his previous wife, and that is Lindsay and Kyle. Somewhere down the line, he gets this reality show. We never see Kyle. I think maybe we saw Kyle one season, but he gets married to somebody. He has a child, or he has a baby with this child named Chloe. We end up seeing Chloe on the show. We'll get into how she gets on the show in a little bit because it's insane. But what they try to make us believe is that like Kyle is a drug addict who struggles, which he is, and he struggles, and he's in and out of jail. But Todd has a history of manipulating a system, and his right now he has like abuse DV charges against him. Recently, his wife that he was with this other woman he does not have a child with. Her name is Lexi Wilby. She did an interview with Dana Wilkie, and I really suggest that you listen to it. It's crazy. It's crazy. And there were some points that she made before I get into the other stuff. Right. There's some stuff we're going to play about Savannah and Chase recently, what they said on their podcast. I feel kind of bad for them because they're a little delusional. But Lexi said, now they go on the show and they claim they're like this church going family, which we never really questioned like what church they went to. At least I didn't. We just didn't question it. Never really saw him go to church though. He's always preaching God. He even preached more God when he just recently went to jail, which allegedly, let me just say, well, this is alleged. He's claiming that they're innocent, even though they were found guilty. Right now, he's doing 12 years. Julie's doing like 7. She was just as crooked as him. And to find out over the years what was going on, he was basically coming and doing the show to cover up a bunch of other stuff, kind of fraud shit they were doing. Well, this is not alleged. This is stuff they were found guilty of. So we come to find out he's like a grifter, right? But what is not understood is what people are, I don't know. Like I said, what Savannah and Chase aren't understanding is their parents are not innocent. They have been proven to be guilty. They are pushing it, and there aren't like I am all for you trying to save your parent. I don't know, pushing this. I don't know what is it like appeals and all that, and but I'm going to play a little bit of something because I don't know how much I can play, but something they said on their podcast the other day. It's just they sound so confident. I don't know what's going on. It's very delusional. It's a letter that she wrote to the government, first first we're hearing how awful the parents have it, right? Like, they're in prison. They don't have air conditioning. Todd is basically saying he's complaining that he's not getting his mail. So he says, is alleged. He's not getting his mail because he's a celebrity. He's being targeted if people are taking his picture at night. Which my answer to you, sir, would be then, segregate him. Put him in a what is it when they're all by yourself? Away from everybody. Problem solved. Don't have to worry about anybody taking your picture. So you are a reality star. Are you okay? You're not okay with people taking your picture? I don't get it. Like, all of a sudden you're not okay. So that's the assault that he's talking about. Julie's saying there is a snake in her prison, which, look, I'm in Jersey. I've been in prison. There's snakes all over the place. You're in prison. So I don't really think that is going to work. On your appeal, and then plus I know it's 120 degrees down south, right? But they chose to want to go to that prison. And I'm sorry that you don't have air conditioning. And one of Savannah's other arguments was that the dog kennel nearby has air conditioning. But listen, the dogs didn't commit crimes. The dogs shouldn't have to suffer. The dogs shouldn't, you can't compare it. Like, they're not the ones committing a crime. Why should they suffer? They're innocent. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, like, and her argument with this is that, like, she says that they had an illegal search of their property. And it's not. And even so, right, even if it was an illegal search, the government can do whatever they want. But I'm going to play what she said. This is her on a podcast with Chase, reading the letter that she wrote to the government. I just want you to hear the confidence in her voice of how she's threatening the government and she's got insiders, and they are going to, now this is, after this, I'm going to tell you about Todd's past, because they got real big ones to talk about Kyle being, DV and all that, because the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I tell you, I kid you not, Todd Chrisley has a past, and I found it, and just let's listen to her for a little bit. It just, she just, I don't know. She just sounds so confident. Yes. So, oh God, then they had, oh man. So then she had a lawyer on yesterday. I didn't hear that one yet. I just want you to hear this one. Of course, I can't get to it. Oh, here it is. All right. So Chase, okay, before I play, Chase is going to say how he went and saw his dad, and
you got to hear about the cluster of everything going on at his facility.
It's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare. It's awful.
The price speed
Mom also, that whole thing is.
They're both now they both have no air.
Yeah, so
no air conditioning. They both live in states, or they're both in states
speed
where
up a little bit.
It gets 100 plus degrees and there's no air conditioning.
And Mom has rattlesnakes just casually slithering on the floor in front of her.
For copyright, I sped it up.
They weren't rattlesnakes.
They weren't.
No. They were
not rattlesnakes.
They were poisonous. It was a poisonous snake. I don't know if it's a moccasin or.
Yeah, so she just had snakes literally right there.
Welcome to prison.
The way they think to apprehend a snake is to mace it.
Okay.
Unbelievable. That to me is an issue.
No shit. There's no reason why anyone. There's people that. I don't care if you killed somebody. If you're in a government facility, you should have air conditioning.
Should have air conditioning.
Yeah,
okay. Welcome to reality.
Just the least of it. Air conditioning is the least of it. Whenever you've got black mold, asbestos, lead-based paint, snakes, and also one thing I don't agree with.
It's not fear factor.
Well, Chase, it is prison, so we're not going to sit here and act like it should be the Four Seasons. Because
I know that, but at the end of the day, it's my parents, so I don't want them, and I don't expect anybody else to feel bad for them. But
I get that,
nobody does.
When people listen to this,
this is what you get confident.
It's prison, so people don't have any sympathy for it.
Yeah, no,
so people don't want them.
They don't have any sympathy until they're in this situation.
Exactly.
A lot of people are in that position,
so
kids.
When your loved one's sitting there,
a lot of loved ones are in prison.
And ending up in a hospital.
And they're actually, a lot of people are withdrawing. They're going through a lot worse than a heat stroke.
Of course it is. And it's awful. And the fact that now we have the director of the BOP going around and doing visits to these facilities, but the facilities are notified of when she is coming. That's also an issue
She talked
because
about.
these facilities now have time to go and hide everything they need.
Not fix the
Right.
problem, just temporarily hide it.
Yeah.
So no one sees it. Yeah.
Exactly, because that's all that's happened.
Let me interject real quick. Watch a show called 60 Days In. You're not the first one to complain about the facilities and the conditions and the way things are, guys. I'm just saying.
Is these prisons are being notified of when the director is coming, so
They
now
don't
they
care.
have time to scramble and fix all of their mess ups just temporarily. Just put a band-aid on it.
But that's the thing. That's why I have faith that it's all going to come to light because they are not fixing it. They're temporarily hiding it.
Exactly.
They're
And
temporarily hiding
what's so
it, 60
sad
days
is
in.
these people who are speaking out about it or want to speak out about it are being retaliated against.
Like who?
And it's just wrong.
Who's being retaliated against? The people from 60 Days In?
I mean, there are some things that are going to come to light that are
Disgusting.
disgusting. It will leave people speechless about the things that go on in these facilities.
We know.
And I'm ready for that day to come, but
It's coming.
it'll happen in its own timing. And it's just
Again, I guess she had seen a little show called 60 Days In.
crazy to sit and watch mom and dad go through that. But luckily, they have the fight in them
They're
to
strong,
exactly.
and
I mean, and they're rich.
they've remained loyal to each other. They love each
I
other.
don't
and-
need to push
But
that
the thing
point.
about it is, like, that's the biggest organized crime that I've ever seen is the government.
Well,
And owning and operating places like
Again, not the first person to say that. Not a shocking, and not a revelation chase.
this to where it's making money for them, but it's literally putting people's lives in danger just from the
Mhm.
conditions.
Oh, 100%. I mean, the conditions are awful. And it's sad. It breaks my heart. But again, things will be revealed when it's time. And the information that has come to me is astonishing.
In boatloads.
Literally, and boatloads that have
In
been
boatloads.
mailed, emailed.
I kind of
direct
feel bad
message.
for her.
I mean,
Phone calls.
it's crazy. The amount of no caller ID calls that I get, insane.
What she's saying is she's getting anonymous phone calls and she thinks the government doesn't know who it is.
It's just that whole thing because everyone always wants an update on how mom and dad are doing, and they're doing fine.
They're doing as good as
Nobody-
they can, I guess.
Exactly, they're
Nobody is asking really, guys. Sorry.
doing fine with what they're given. Like they're getting
They're in
by,
prison.
but it's
But my parents or our parents, they're very, very strong
Right.
individuals.
Well, yeah,
they were not built to break.
I want to get to the letter part real quick.
They can,
that's because it puts such a bad taste in our mouth about the country that we live in.
Okay. Welcome to life,
Horrible
honey.
information. These are just remarks intended to create a strong, negative, emotional, not
Wait,
done
wait, wait.
sister, that I sat eating dinner with my brother and sister, and as we were eating, we were watching the hearings on the corruption being exposed within the FBI. Despite the fact that I've told my family and siblings that I'm doing everything in my power to get our parents home, I realized that I needed to take another step and begin pursuing help from anyone and anywhere that I can find a captive audience and someone who's willing to just listen. I need to be heard. My family needs to be heard. My siblings ask me every day,
Sure.
when are mom and dad going to come home? They need to be heard.
12 years,
So I'm
that's
turning
when.
to you and asking, and so I'm turning to you now and asking you to please read this letter with an open mind. If even one piece of this information strikes you as government
Makes no
overreach,
sense,
I
Amy.
ask that you please contact me and let me provide you with actual evidence that substantiates my claims. Please let me show you what's happened to my family. I'm hoping that through
Wow.
that process, maybe we can undo this injustice and bring my family back. We live in America, the greatest nation
She's
on earth,
nuts.
a nation that prioritizes freedom, liberty,
Wait, listen.
and justice for all. I believe
She's not pledging allegiance, guys.
personally in justice. I'm not in any way trying to get preferential treatment
Yes,
or
you are.
pass for my parents. If the government can honestly and ethically prove their case, then I will
They already
absolutely
did.
accept that outcome. But that is absolutely not what has happened. Our case, our trial, and our entire experience with the Justice Department has been riddled with errors and inconsistencies. At every turn, the blindfolds of justice that we're supposed to protect were allowed to be lifted.
Doesn't
Instead
she,
of facts
Shay?
being presented as the basis of the prosecution, our family name was highlighted as an attempt
Wait
to
till you-
arouse and alarm the jury.
Shay, wait till I play you what I found about her parents before we found out who they were.
And then I go into some other things that were found actually in the court transcripts and
can't.
remarks that were made to the
I
jury.
feel,
in order
listen, I feel bad because she does sound delusional, and I don't know who she thinks she's threatening. The government, the judges, I don't know. Nothing's going to change the fact of what her parents did. The conditions are not bad enough where, listen, like I said, there's a show called 60 Days, and apparently she has not seen it. I suggest that she watches it. If she's not the first whistleblower on the conditions of a prison, and if she thinks that they have it bad where they're at, let her watch that show, and she's really going to think, like, oh my God, right? So let me play you guys what I found about Mr. Todd Chrisley. You guys, man, it takes the kid from Kyle, calls him a drug addict and stuff, right? And he's abusive and all that. Allegedly, this is all what Todd says. Mr. Todd, okay. Now, Lexi didn't. I suggest you watch Lexi or you listen to Lexi's interview. You should go to Dana's Patreon, Dana Wilkie's Patreon. It's only $6 a month. But this I just found on my own. Okay, this is his ex-wife. Listen to that. He's been married a couple. But listen to this. He has had charges against him for abuse. Mr. Todd Chrisley, drugs, drinking. I don't think it's alleged either. Oh, I hate when listen, how do I have ads? They owe me money. Isn't that crazy?
14. But we did, and it was a big deal.
Okay.
It really wouldn't have happened if years. His first wife, Teresa Terry.
This Teresa Terry.
The
This
high
is.
school sweethearts got married after she became pregnant with their oldest child,
I'm
Lindsay,
going
at
to
19.
I'll tell you who has this.
According to Teresa, the marriage probably wouldn't have happened if
Okay.
not for pregnancy.
Okay. So I'm talking about Todd Chrisley. So basically, his kids went on and their podcast, and they're basically threatening the government with this. They're exposing, the justice system and how corrupt the prison is and all stuff. And I was saying basically she hasn't seen 60 Days in. To prove her parents are, they should be let out and they should be, there's all this injustices that were taken or not taken during their, it's just horrible. So then I'm doing some like background stuff on it. And I find stuff about him from the past, Todd. He was married. We know he's married a couple times, but his ex-wife has a story.
Most likely, we wouldn't have married if I hadn't been pregnant. The South Carolina native confessed to the Daily Mail in 2014. But we did, and it was a big deal. Revealing further details about her small wedding, she stated, "There were 6 attendants on both sides, and even though the town where we lived wasn't big, the church was full." 2 years later, the pair's second child, son Kyle, was born. Unfortunately, their happiness was short-lived, with Teresa filing for a divorce after 7 years of marriage and revealing that they had separated multiple times during that period. She stated that the primary factors for her divorce filing were in fact due to Todd's abusive behavior and alcoholism. She accused him of giving her physical as well as mental torture and filed a domestic abuse complaint against him, saying he battered her in 1992.
He looks nuts.
She also claimed he threatened to kill her with a knife. In another instance, she alleged that Todd tore off her clothes and beat her with his fists while she was naked. Todd denied all the allegations, and Teresa eventually dropped the case.
Wow.
The pair were ultimately granted divorce in 1996, but their problems seemed far from over.
Listen.
Barely a month after the couple's divorce was finalized, Todd walked down the aisle with Julie, who was already 9 months pregnant with their son Chase at the time. After their separation, Teresa tried to take full custody of both of her children, but the court granted joint care to both the parents.
Of this
Later,
guy.
Todd also appealed for sole custody of his children. And
this guy who has all these charges against him, he goes and he has the balls to take Kyle's kids.
he won the case in 2002. Teresa implied that her ex-husband kept both the kids because he could provide more materially. Todd went after Teresa and sued her for a whopping $1 million in child support in 2012,
Right.
but he lost the case. There has been a huge contrast in the public visibility of the two former sweethearts since their divorce was finalized. While Todd continues to hug the limelight, putting both his personal and professional life on display in front of millions of viewers through his reality show, Teresa has become a total recluse and is so fiercely private about her life, it's even difficult to find more than a handful of pictures
You know
of her.
what? Isn't that nuts? Now, I want to cite who this is because it's a guy, and this was only 2 years ago. This is right when the allegations started. PDQ briefing on, oh my God, there's so much. Then there's this clip that I wish I could find. Lindsay was on Dr. Phil, and And it was basically Todd was threatening his own daughter with a sex tape. Like, so, and again, when do we ever see this dude go to church? Like, who is this guy? But the fact that they want to get out of prison because they think that they're somehow justified after all of that, like, do you not know who your parents are? Do they not? I mean, I found this. All I did was a stupid Google search, right, on YouTube, and I was like, whoa, wow. I couldn't even. I mean, I knew that he was a little cheeky-deekies, like, you know, sneaky now, but I was like, wow. So. And again, the stuff that Lexi will be, Kyle's ex-wife of 7 years, says on Dana Wilkie's podcast on the Patreon is crazy. Like, I suggest you listen to it. It's like basically she has allegations right now against Kyle. Well, she did. Okay, charges. And it's been a couple of different times, and it was DV, and they're not even together anymore. He's with somebody else, but he also is facing charges with the girl he's with now. But they went back with Lexi with her charges, and they went and they ended up getting her iCloud, which also included all of Todd's messages, all kinds of more stuff to further prove more allegations. So she ended up getting it dropped because she said, I don't want to do this. He's in enough trouble, blah, blah, blah. But like, wow. So yeah, that's what I have against that. What I have with that. Now, I just want to move on to Teresa. I don't really want to say the other person's name because I said in my last live that I don't want to talk about her any longer because that's what she wants. For everybody to stop talking to her, but I'll just, you know, reference to, somebody that just recently unfollowed the cast. And I know I said this before, but I didn't specify, but like again, go on Dana Wilkie's podcast, but I remember I said before that I am firmly think that, well, I believe that Dina, should I just said it? You guys are okay. So Dina and Dave stopped talking to Teresa because I know I said she puts, there's emotional boundaries that Teresa just kept crossing, after the wedding. And I said, and also this dude that she married, this random guy, Louis, claims he's part of the mob, blah, 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 blah. And if you guys already know, like Dina has was married to Tommy Manzo, who allegedly attacked her and her husband in the state of New Jersey, almost killing them. And that was a case, it was in 2015. She's moved away. And recently, I guess when Bo Diedel's name came out, it kind of confirmed where the connection with Louis, that mob it came from. And it's like, it scared the crap out of her. And of course it would, so I guess it took her a while, but she unfollowed her. And I said I wasn't going to keep talking about her, but, could you imagine, how close her and Teresa were, and to find out that you're like best friend, that you're like best friend who you ride or die for, who I really, and you don't even talk to her and sister or this stuff, and you continue to talk to her, to find out that her new husband has connections with somebody who has connections with, and for real, with the guy who you were married to, tried to allegedly murder you. And I don't want to say allegedly because I'm pretty sure he's found guilty, or somebody was. He just hasn't been sentenced yet. So yeah, I suggest you guys listen to Dana Wilkie's podcast on Patreon. She might even have said it on YouTube, but recently. So pretty sad. And also some other stuff with Teresa. Now, I don't listen to her podcast, but from what I understand on Namaste Bitches, there's an episode with Teresa who is somehow talking about Sophia Vergara and calls her an immigrant. I'm like, okay, guys, I'm like, I say this a lot. I don't excuse her behavior. I try to explain it, but I just don't know. The way that I suggest you listen to it. You can get it for free. You don't have to pay for it on Spotify. But, there's some things going on with her that has something to do with her and her co-host on Namaste Bitches, Melissa Feaster, who's really cool, has her own podcast, extremely successful, doesn't really need Teresa. If you ask me, Teresa needs her. because Teresa's just stupid. Like, you know, I am not the brightest bulb in the box, but like I also would need a co-host, like just like Teresa would. I can't really. I don't know. I just Teresa just she's the common denominator. I'm just giving you guys the facts. I'm not taking sides here. I'm just saying it just seems like since Louie's been around that Teresa has gone through a lot of friends, and you know that's not the first issue her and Melissa have had. Apparently, there's a just recently Teresa needed the podcast to move up the time or something, and Melissa just went and did it, and there was a communication thing, and I don't know. It just seems like when Louie has a problem with somebody, Teresa has to just get rid of them. And you know, also she's on there talking crap on her trainer, and her trainer is Nicole, who is one of her best friends, who just recently was on Instagram Live, basically backing Teresa up. So I don't know if she has, like, you know, apparently got a new trainer. I don't know, but she's having a problem with her trainer now. Again, but the saddest thing for me is the Dina stuff. I haven't really been on. I haven't seen if there's anything that came out today, but Lenny Hochstein. Oh my God, dude. So, do you guys watch The Hills? Did you watch The Hills reboot? I had no idea that the girl that Brody had brought on towards the end, this Hills reboot, was that Katerina girl, Lenny's ex. Could you imagine? Remember how he was screaming at her in the bedroom because she wanted Joe to come to the wedding? Like, he's crazy. Like, it's crazy. But okay, so apparently Katerina, when she was married, was somehow on the Hills reboot. I remember a girl being on there, a real pretty girl. I didn't remember who it was. But apparently Lenny is like broke or something, which is kind of weird. So let's see. And I'm really proud of Lisa Hochstein because, you know, she's awesome. Like, that is a comeback. Like, I understand, like, you get engaged or you date a man who, I don't know, is separated, right? But why do you go and get engaged? Like, how do you go and get engaged? Like, she's right. Like, congratulations to my husband and his mistress. Because, like, that's what it is. Like, you know? And Lisa's still living on the property. But to me, like, if she's owed that house, I would take that house and I would sell that house. I would get my $125 million or whatever it's worth. Basically put all that away for my kids and my life and buy like a $5 million house. You know what I mean? Like, go live in a smaller, you know what I mean? Look at like, what's her face? Look at Larsa. Larsa is quite happy. You know, she doesn't need millions and millions of dollars. Lives in like a condo or something like that and she's got Marcus, who, you know, like, even if he's cut out of the will, he'll still have, you know, Pippin money. That's kind of fucked up, but like, I said this before, they didn't even know each other. But anyway, like, back to Lenny. Let's see if Lenny's broke. I don't know. Lenny's broke, guys. No, he's going broke, but like, and then his mom, another thing with his mom, you kind of can't blame her. But see, she didn't have to go as far to say that about Lisa. Like, I don't know why she's got to go that far, but like, the fact that, like, Lenny tried to kick her out of her home, like, she's got to kiss her son's ass. Like, cause she knows her son is a piece of poop, right? Like, she knows that. Like, there's no denying it. He cheated. So it's like, he did. The facts are there. And Lisa did respect him. Lisa did more than respect him for Christ's crap, crazy, whatever. You know, like, you know, it's just nuts. But I mean, hey, you don't have to go out and all that. The mom go out and say all that. Oh, look at my little swans. They're silicone. They glow in the dark at night. I just couldn't wait till tonight to do this. But happy Friday, guys. But see, Lenny, I gotta see, where did I see that Lenny was broke? Dana has it in her thing. I got her permission to give you guys like a tiny bit of what she has, but you should really go and subscribe to her. Everything I tell you guys, like, I might not give you all of the tea, but she has receipts, and I'm just telling you, I wouldn't say it if she didn't. I wouldn't give you that information, like the stuff about like Dina and stuff. I don't know. He's getting sued. And that's what I remember from that part. But let me see. Oh my God, there was a show too that he was on, a reality show from 2004 called Miami Slice. It is so freaking cheesy. You gotta see it. Just Google that crap. It's crazy. But like, ugh, I don't know. Okay, so Jessica Simpson's broke too. Heather Dubrow. Oh, yeah. Okay, so Lenny has fine. Lenny. Basically, Katarina's already cheating. I don't know about that, but maybe. I don't know. I probably can't really play this. But basically, we're just going to say that he's going broke. I don't know. He's got some lawsuits against him. Kyle, another thing. You haven't, Shay? It's so good. Like, the one that's on now. No, see, the one that was on before with Lenny and her was so obvious that they weren't. Something was up, and then they got separated and they got back together, and she made herself believe everything was great, but apparently it wasn't, and we could see it. The season that came back recently, the first one that just came back, we could see that he wasn't happy, and then he wasn't, and then he got caught cheating. But then she's so young and they're engaged, but there's like it's not even divorced yet. But like Lisa's happy though, you know. Yeah. So yeah, Jessica Simpson's having issues. Savannah Chrisley, who we were just talking about, is on a competition show at Sandoval. She got kicked off early. But the Kyle stuff, all right, real quick. The Kyle and Morgan Wade stuff, I cannot still stand by. Do not say they are not lovers. I do not think that they're lovers. Why is Kyle doing a documentary about addiction with her? I suspect that it's about Morgan Wade's life because that involves Morgan Wade's dad, who could biologically be Kyle's dad, would make them half sisters, which would make them, makes more sense why you would have a tattoo with somebody. Like, I just don't say lovers. I just don't see that at all. I just feel like we're going to find out. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just saying. But how long have I been on? A half hour? There's not really. You guys, I love you guys for being here, Terry and Shay. And somebody else. I don't see the person, but it could be me. But yeah, I don't know. I've been a little like MIA lately, but yeah, that stuff got wild. But it's filming right now. I think that you should watch it. You already kind of swear that's who it is. It's filming right now, but yeah. And then does anybody know what the this show, the spin-off show with Jax, is it just Jax and Kristen and Brittany? Who am I missing? Jax, Kristen, I don't know, right? Like, what is up with that? I don't know. And it's not even on Bravo, it's on Peacock. And then is there another spin-off show or something? I'm not out of the loop with that one, guys. Oh, listen to this. Oh yeah, the Andy stuff. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Let me get into the Andy and Kelly stuff. Do you guys hear about this? I know you probably did if you watch either Kelly and Rick or Andy if you watch What Happens Live. Okay, so the other night on Watch What Happens Live, the Real Housewives of OC, I guess it was Shannon, right? Shannon was on and Vicky. And the bartender was the manager of the Quiet Woman, where Shannon's always there. You know, the whole infamous fight with Kelly, right? So what happens is there's a shady ass question asking the guy behind the counter, the manager, who's his favorite housewife? He says Shannon, of course. Who's your least favorite? He says Kelly Dodd. Well, Kelly Dodd hears it and gets completely freaking like loses it, upset. Texas the dude, Texas Andy. The guy goes and says to her that it was on the teleprompter and that he had no choice but to say that. And I'm like, is that how that works? I don't know. Even Vicky backed it up though, right? But then, so they're on their podcast, they're talking about it, and she's hurt, and I don't blame her. I'd be hurt too. You guys hear the that chirp chirp? If it comes closer, I'll show you where it is. But so anyway, so basically, Kelly's her. And I'm like, okay. But like, so then the after show comes on. Even she's texting Adam up and Adam's texting her. And I'm like, and everybody's kind of questioning this whole thing. We're like, you know what? If that's the case, how freaking shady of Andy. And why does he keep talking about Kelly? And why would he put that on there? So then we find out, I don't know. Then fast forward till this morning, Kelly finds out now that was a whole lie and it wasn't real in his teleprompter, but they're going back and forth. Like Andy, I don't know. The fact that he even, the Kelly Dodd's name came up. The guy apparently is saying, it's behind me. The guy is basically saying, he's standing by, doubling down, saying it was on the teleprompter. Andy's saying it's not. And I'm like, you know what? They say Kelly's name so much. I feel bad for her. She's really hurt. And either way, I'd be hurt by Andy. I'd be hurt by that dude. Because, you know, people probably go to the Quiet Woman just to see Kelly Dodd, you know? But that's that. But I'm going to come back at nighttime, guys, because the Swan and my new floats glow in the dark. And also right now I hear the neighbors, they're starting to fight, and I don't really want it to be on camera because it's just a bunch of white trash. I can't deal with it. And I really don't even know what's going on. It's just letters. And what else was on my thumbnail about Lenny, Teresa, the Andy stuff? I feel really bad. I feel bad for Kelly. But I did miss you guys. My mental health is like right now. That's why you haven't seen me. I hear you. Where are you? I want everybody else to see you. I'm probably gonna chill with my birds in my yard. And the lights, I have new lights. I might come back later, maybe. I don't know, hopefully. Hey, Aaron. I was just saying I was gonna go, but maybe I'll stay a little bit longer. I was just saying my mental health hasn't been the best, so I haven't really been here. I've been missing a lot. Missing everyone. But I was talking about OC. OC still not, look, I'm not behind Vicky coming back. I'm just not. And I do not like the way that they treat Heather. Where are you? I don't like the way they treat Heather. Oh, it's a male, so you're not going to say. I mean, a female. She's not red. I don't like the way they're treating. Thank you, Aaron. I don't like the way they're treating Heather. Gina, I don't understand why she's there. I don't like the way they even went around this whole Jen stuff. Tamrat and Eddie, you know, that dude handled himself pretty well at that dinner, I think. You know, I just don't. I find it kind of funny that what I'm thinking is, you are, Aaron. I'm not at all. I just feel like, why? It's I don't know. I mean, I hope they keep Jen. Tamara is just showing her cards. I just think she's so immature. She did not save this season. She didn't save how she thinks. You know, Teddy needs to just shut up, because if she tries to jump in on this, it's like, what are you doing? Oh, Erin, you're here at 333. I think you came in at 444 last time. That's crazy. That's crazy. You did 333 our time. And so did Duche. Yeah, Kelly was really hurt, right? I mean, she should be. Like, it's like, leave her alone. It's like they keep kicking her. And it's like, what either way, whoever said it, whether Andy had it on the teleprompter, he's a freaking bully. And if that dude said that, like, dude, she put you on the map. Like, you know, and then saying it's because she demands attention. Why does she demand attention? It's crazy. Like, I felt really bad for her. You could tell she was hurt. And Vicky, you know, Vicky did stick up for her. I must say that. Vicky did stick up for her. Vicky kind of looked, you could see she looked appalled. And then Kelly today, you could tell today she kind of blamed it on Shannon. She kind of said Shannon set this whole thing up and Shannon made the guy come there. And I'm like, I think that's a little bit of a stretch, but I don't want her. I mean, if that's what she needs to believe, then I would rather her have that in her mental, you know, believe that than like have to think that Andy's still, but like, you know what I'm saying? I guess maybe that's the easiest thing for her to believe, because it's the less hurtful thing to believe, you know. And it's a shame, and it is wrong, and it's a shame. I felt bad for her. Yeah. So, and Andy, like, dude, again, like Kelly says it all the time, I don't talk about him until he talks about me. And she proves it all the time. Like, when they talk about the Quiet Woman, what do they show? They show that scene. But, you know, Shannon didn't look surprised when the dude said it, but Vicky did. And as much as I don't agree with Vicky coming back. I don't like the three amigos. They're not real friends. We know that. But then again, who's really friends in Housewives anyway? You know? Oh, there's a red one. Hi. Come behind me. Chirp. Anyway. Yeah, and Aaron, you're here. It's crazy. But yeah, we're talking about the Chrisleys and how crazy his past, Aaron, his past before we even knew him as the criminal that he is now. He's had some domestic violence charges against some of his ex-wives. He's been married apparently 5 times. The only one I know of, the one that I can find is Savannah. Savannah. No, is Lindsay and Kyle's dad. Tamara and Vicky are real friends. Tamara's not real friends with anybody. Like Tamara is Tamara. So Savannah Chrisley and Chase are on the podcast. Aaron, you want to know? And she's quite confident that her parents are being very mistreated. And it's too hot down there. They don't have air conditioning, and the kennel has air conditioning, but her parents don't. But my argument is the kennel, the dogs didn't do anything illegal. You did. Your parents did, and it was proven. It's not alleged. They were, in a court of law. They do not have. They're on appeal, but listen, they were found guilty. But he's getting 12 years, whatever. Okay, sweating is not the worst. So, there's a show called 60 Days In. So she's not the first whistleblower, Savannah Chrisley and Chase. They're on the podcast saying their parents should be let out because they're getting mistreated. And wait till they expose the prison system. And it's so unfair there. And it's it's a money corrupted place. And like, this is not new news, To the prison system. It's all corrupt. The government's corrupt. We know that they do not have to make money. Your parents aren't the first ones being mistreated in prison. Listen. Todd getting his picture taken in the middle of the night. You know what I said? Put him in a cell by himself then. Put him in what's it called? Segregate when he's like when you're by yourself. I forget what it's called, but I don't know. That'll solve that. He doesn't want his picture taken. That's his whatever, because he's a celebrity. Whatever. His mail's getting taken. Look, dude, maybe it is. Maybe you're getting shit you shouldn't be getting, because apparently Aaron, before this, his ex-wife had abuse charges against him, DV charges, R charges. Okay, he's an addicted, substance abuse charge. Like, he was addicted to substances, which I'm saying now we see what happened with Kyle. Kyle's just not some black sheep of the family. Like, his dad is where this all came from. The fact that his daughter, with Lindsay, she was on Dr. Phil, and he was threatening her with saying that Chase had sex videos of her. It was just crazy. So even if all that is true, Savannah, and you think that you have this big case against the government, they are so guilty of so much other stuff. She just sounds, and I feel bad because she really sounds so confident. I don't know if they're both delusional, if maybe he just doesn't know what to say to her because, you got your parents on one hand that probably feeding her a bunch of, get us out of here, it's so bad, blah, blah, blah. And then she's saying to him, oh, wait till we find out all this whistleblower stuff. And what do you do? I hear you. Anyway, so it's just crazy. So then I started doing a little bit of digging, and I was like, whoa. So I also decided to go on Dana Wilkie's podcast on Patreon for $6 and listen to her interview with Lexi Wilby, who was just married to Kyle for 7 years. She basically just dropped all charges against him for DV because he's already, she says one good thing about Nanny Faye, though. She said Nanny Faye's a godsend, and it's a shame that she's got a son like Todd. And I said, what a shame, because she said that Nanny Faye's like her grandmom. So that's a good thing. But the downfall of that is she said Todd does no wrong, and that's basically why he's the way he is. He's never been held accountable. All those charges with his ex-wife, basically, they went away. I mean, they had 2 kids. I don't think at the time, maybe she just wanted him to go away. I don't know. It's a shame because, again, Lexi also brings up the fact that they never had a church, and we just never asked, what church do you guys go to? So Savannah, your parents are criminals, man. They are criminals. So if you think you're going to, threaten the government, Jen Shaw tried the same shit, girlfriend. your parents, you know, with their past, the stuff coming up, the history that they have, even on appeal, they don't deserve to be out. And you know, snakes being in prison, so what? I live in Jersey. Guess what? In the sticks, we got snakes in our prison. Okay, we don't have air conditioning either. Okay, so it's not, you know, watch 60 Days In. That's really going to scare the crap out of you. So if you think your parents are getting mistreated, watch 60 Days In. Wait, you see what goes on in other prisons. You're not some whistleblower. I'm sorry. I'm just saying. I feel bad, like you know, and then Aaron, there's also some stuff about, you know, Teresa's ex-friend that we all know very well that moved away from here to get away from everything, you know. And I was saying, you know, when you hear that your best friend's new random ass husband, where this dude she just married, has ties that he claims has ties to the MOB, of course that person's not going to want to be around because, you know, she was also married to the MOB at one point, and they're fighting random, you know, and you know she doesn't want to be around that. And then come to find out, Bo Deagle also is as ties to her ex-husband Tommy. So it's like, you know, imagine the hurt that person feels, her ex-best friend Teresa. You know, man, I just feel so bad for her. But I keep saying that she wants us to stop talking about her, and I keep saying I'm going to. I didn't mean to say her name again, but I did. But anyway, you know, Teresa also said something really controversial on her podcast. I suggest you listen to it. It's the one about Sophia Vergara. Teresa, like, I'm sorry, I can't even explain that one. Like, yeah, I even know better than that. Like, ugh. You know, I hope Melissa Feaster just lets her go because Melissa does not need her. Teresa needs her. Teresa is the one with the ghost writer. It's like, just like I need a co-host. Teresa needs one. But OC sucks. I'm not about Teresa. I'm just not about it. I couldn't even watch it, guys. So I'm not even going to pretend that I recap it. I watched a little bit of it. I watched a tiny bit of it. I watched some. It just can't do it. Yeah, the parents have quite a history. It's insane. I kind of want to do a whole episode just on them. I might just do on their history, guys. I just might do that. It might be my little project. But like I said, I'm struggling. So I'm going to let you guys go. Maybe come back later. I don't know. But I love all of you. And if you guys haven't commented and liked and commented all that crap, I can't even talk. Like, comment, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. My yard is, you know, looking good. I want you guys to see it at night. I got some better lights. But thank you, Aaron. I love you too. I missed you guys, so I was like pushing it today. I was like, all right, I'm gonna get there. But yeah. I will talk to you guys in the DM. So talk to you later. Like I said,